Everybody's talking at me. I don't hear a word they're saying, only the echoes of my mind. People stopping, staring.
Right. Good morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time it is that you're watching. I don't want to do a Zen Archer and talk about your part of the world, because it kind of doesn't really matter where you are. You might just like staying up all night, so you might be in a different part of the day, but you know, watching this to the time that I'm doing it, which happens to be a Saturday afternoon at about 4:45. The family have gone out and left me a bit of peace and quiet. Don't know how long that'll last, but I wanted to have a little bit of a chat with my subscribers, viewers, whatever you want to call yourselves, because this is it. This is number 1000, the 1000th video in this channel. Made it. There's actually more footage to come, but having got to the 1000, which was the aim, pardon me, nose getting a bit itchy, but the aim for the first sort of stage, if you like, of this channel. I thought I'd round it up a little bit. Perhaps this is something which I could put on the front for a while, I don't know, but round it up for a bit, sort of sum up what I've achieved. A lot of people have been doing these my YouTube story things recently, because it was 5 years of YouTube. I think in May. I didn't come in in the first month. I came in February. I think it was about 8 months later, so I could be doing my 4 years and 4 months, I suppose, now, but that's relatively early, thanks to being in relatively early and deciding to go for a director channel relatively early. That's one of the reasons why I've got some quite long footage in there. So if you look through those 1000 videos, I believe you'll find that the average length is longer than on most places. Some people say that's too long-winded. It's up to you whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, then you probably know what you can do with it. But basically, I have quite long footage. Some things are really very long. The longest thing on my channel is about 5 hours long. Probably if you added all my footage together, there'd be more minutes on here than on most other channels. I've never seen actually a channel that's got as much minutes on the footage as mine has, which doesn't necessarily say anything about quality, but you know, never mind the quality, feel the width. That's always been my watchword, and I've sort of like built my body around that idea as well. So in any event, what could you see if you've come here for the first time today and you see this, you know, my ridiculous face kind of pontificating here from this kind of square? What you might think, well, what has this guy got to offer? Well, if you have a look at my channel, you know, delve through it, you'll find a very, very wide variety of things. You'll find a lot of travelogues in from a lot of different countries. I know I don't count them all, but I mean, you've obviously got Britain, which is where I come from originally. You've got Poland, which is where I live. You've got some France in there. You've got Germany a few times. You've got you've got a bit of Holland in there. Not that you really see it as Holland. It's more of the inside of an airport. You've got some nice ones of Spain. You've got a little bit of what else have you got? You've got Russia a few times. You've got the Ukraine one time. You've got plenty of Prague these days. You've got some Hungary, and a bit more of that coming up. So you've got different countries. You've got the United States, a few visits, and Canada one time. So you've got various countries around the world that you can have a look at. You know, I don't know whether it's about 12 or 15 countries, probably about, I don't know, 40, 50 different places, cities or whatever within that region, and those travelogues covering. So if you like travelogues, then that's it. I never prompt, you know, it's just impromptu. I never kind of plan something, research it and go there. So if you want to see somebody making completely, you know, off the cuff comments just to what they see and not have it all necessarily all researched beforehand like you get on the TV, with people making vacuous comments about things even though they've had time to really research it deeply, then, you know, if you want to see what it's actually like rather than what they sort of tell you you'd be able to see, but when you get there you can't see it, then you might enjoy the travelogues on my channel. and while I'm walking around I usually sort of give the kind of running commentary that some people of you have stated that you like, which is very kind. Sometimes I'm just driving along, sort of mouthing off, as it were. Sometimes I'm sitting here mouthing off, but then we come to the other thing that you find here, that's characterizations. Obviously, a number of people have started quite liking Huliganov. That's, I suppose, the flagship character. That's a sort of Russian professor with odd business interests at the side. He's coming back in the next 1000. He's going to be coming. There's going to be more of him because you've shown that you like him. So I haven't been doing him a lot recently, and certainly the Russian course which he does is something which I know that you all want a lot of. Well, I say all of you, maybe not all, but most people who've said that they want something from me have wanted more of the Russian course. It's a difficult thing to do it because it's rather time consuming. Also, I kind of lost track of what I've taught and what I haven't taught. So what I have to do is I have to go through all the lessons that I've done so far and write everything down in a book and then plan the next lot. I'm going to plan to 10 ahead and do them and then play them out gradually. So that's what's going to come fairly early on in the next 1000 videos. It's difficult for me to tell you everything that's going to be in the next 1000 videos. I mean, it's up to God if I even last very long on this planet, or if any of us do, for that matter, the way things are going at the moment. It'd be nice to have enough time to do another 1000 videos. But if all goes well, then I plan to do another 1000, maybe another 1000 after that. But for the next 1000, I can't even tell you what's going to be, because within the 1000 that I've done, well, I didn't know that when I started it was going to be a lot of travelogue videos. The reason why I'm doing the travelogue videos is that I do a lot of travel. And that's why I do, the travelogue videos. I don't think I've ever specially gone to a place just to film it. But what does happen is that if I'm in a place because of work or whatever else there might be, I've sometimes been motivated to go out of an evening and go for a walk or what have you and film. And that actually, the act of filming and having you company with me when I'm doing something, that actually it actually motivates you to go out and look at things which otherwise you might say, well, forget it, I want a lazy evening. So it's actually very useful. It gets you out and about if you're a filmer, and that's one of the reasons I do it. Certainly to keep my own memories of the things that I've seen, to share them with people that I know, with obviously my kids and with my wife and people that can't be with me when I'm necessarily there if I'm working. Maybe grandchildren one time, I don't know. But in any event, also it's been a delight to know that some of you out there have enjoyed these things and that you comment and we discuss, and some of us have made quite good friends. I've made a number of very firm friends out of this whole thing. So I mean, the main thing about my YouTube story, I think, is the fact that I didn't know when I was going to do that. It's a bit of cheek me even doing any kind of YouTube story, because that's for the kind of famous folk that do their YouTube story and how they weren't intending to become famous, and suddenly they became famous. Well, I'm not famous. I mean, I wouldn't scrape an E-list, I don't think, on YouTube. I've got I'm working up towards having 3,000 subscribers, which is great. Really like that. But there are people out there that have got an awful lot more than I've got, so I'm not under any illusions about having any kind of real fame. A couple of times I've been spotted on the street, but it's really very rare. And that's good, actually. That's pretty good, because I don't really want the sort of thing where people see me, everyone's saying, "Oh no, there's Huliganov, or there's Uncle Davey," or whoever they might know me as. So basically, hell, I don't know what I was going to say. I didn't know at the beginning whether where this was going to go, and I didn't know that it was going to go into radio for part of it. I wasn't really listening to the radio much at the beginning. I've always liked to talk radio, but there wasn't anything to listen to at the beginning when I started doing it. And at some point I started to be involved in the play radio thing that went on for a while and then came to an abrupt halt because of financial misfortunes over there in the UK. But that enabled me to put up on this channel, you'll find on this channel, quite a lot of Tommy Boyd, quite a lot of shows called not the Tommy Boyd Show, quite a lot of other shows which were videoed, or video streaming in the studio, including, it turned out, the James Whale show. There's about 12 or so James Whale, full-length James Whale shows. Maybe the most video of James Whale doing shows that there is anywhere free on the internet. James Whale now does a show on LBC. It's podcasted. You can go there and you can sub to those podcasts. It's a paid subscription, not unreasonable, I think. And the guy's got to live. Let's not criticise him for that. I live off accountancy, so I can easily do things for free, but other people have got to live off something. So I'm not criticising people that don't give everything that they have away for nothing. So so there's obviously a lot of this radio in there. I hope that some people go back and look at those shows. Some of you participated in it at the time, and you can always go back and have a listen and have a watch of the presenters and the other people in the studio, how they reacted at the time. That's always nice to go back to from time to time. Some people like radio as a podcast. I personally listen to it mainly as a podcast when I'm on the planes and things like that, or before going to sleep, so I don't always have the video there, and radio's mainly for just listening to, but sometimes it's interesting to watch it for a bit, because then you can see what the people look like who you're talking to. You can get to know them more closely, and actually that's what it's all about. On video you can actually feel as though you know somebody, so you might feel, sometimes I feel that when I've watched somebody's videos and they've watched my videos, that we know each other in a way which we wouldn't otherwise, and it kind of can sometimes lead into people feeling as already when they meet that they kind of know each other quite well. Case in point was when I met Alan Heath at a hotel. I already felt as though I knew the guy from YouTube. Lord Moggy, who even came over to Poland to work for a while and went back to Australia afterwards. You almost feel as though you know the guy before you've even met them in person, because video is an awful lot more than the old discussion groups you used to have. You have an idea of somebody in a discussion group, the way they write. But then if you'd meet up with them, you'd see somebody completely different to the person that you envisaged from a discussion. Whereas you're not going to get that if you've actually seen the person. You know what they look like. They're in a kind of natural setting, unless of course they act a lot and behave completely different to the way they'd behave in real life. So you really, using video, you've really got the human being, and you've seen my family, you've seen my home. I've pretty much shown it all. So you've got the opportunity, if you want to get to know somebody, you can use YouTube to sort of like present yourself as you really are, and get to see other people the way they are, in a way that nothing else on the internet is possible. Of course, there's Skypes and things like that these days, there's stickams and what have you, but that's, in order to see somebody or even come across somebody in the first place, I don't think there's anything like YouTube. So YouTube is also a great way of finding all sorts of different things you wouldn't see on television, things that people make, because they want to put a message out, and that can be very educational. You can find out a lot of things that would be even maybe censored by the media. So you've got a chance to find out very interesting things. By the use of the search facility, you can get to things that you want. You can get to music clips that you would have to wait a long time to find if you're just waiting for them on TV, things that you might not have heard for many years. You might want to listen to Pilot sing in January or something, and it might not be January, it might be kind of July or something, like it will be in a few days, and they're not going to put that on the radio in July, are they? Put Pilot January, but maybe maybe you're a little bit perverse and you want to hear January even though it's July, and where you're going to do that, where you can look up Pilot January, and even in July you'll be able to hear it on YouTube. So it's like the ultimate video on demand, which was what people were talking about. Oh, video on demand, they're going to make a pretty penny out of it, and then along comes YouTube and gives people video on demand without, for free, which is fantastic. And we're all part of this. Everybody that puts up films, everybody that watches other people's films, comments on them, even if they don't put up their own stuff, but at least they're commenting on other people's, subscribing, putting stars on them, putting thumbs ups and downs and things like that on people's comments, then you're part of it. That means you're part of this, as it were, historic thing, this revolution of media controlled by actual normal people. I say normal, you know what I mean by that. There aren't normal and there aren't average people, but people that wouldn't be able to get on the standard media, where a certain type of stereotyped program plan always seems to exist, and even the reality TV, what they call reality TV, is very far from actual reality. So one time, you know, I actually worked in TV. I worked in TV in Russia one time for about a year and a half, and I had a manager who was from Denmark, and he said to me, "David, you'll make a mistake that you think you make TV for yourself, but in fact you don't make TV for yourself. You make it for lowest common denominator." So basically, he was right. He's absolutely right. If you want to put a bunch of money into putting together TV programs, buying them from Columbia Pictures, which is what we did, and my signature is actually on the on Jerry Springer, which for one of the things I have to my fame is I actually bought Jerry Springer for the Russian market for the first time. Nobody had actually had Jerry Springer, so I had to buy it, and then we had to dub it. So Jerry Springer had not been known in Russia until the channel that I was finance director of bought it. And we also showed things like The Nanny and what have you that are already at Benny Hill, Mr. Bean, that have been up there, you know, dozens and dozens of times. We also made our own programs, and I think that I'm not sure whether we made Tramp Wars where we pay tramps to beat each other up and things like that. It's all good fun. But basically, my boss, my sort of mentor, if you like, in TV, because it was, even though I was a finance guy, which in many things would be a backroom sort of job, in this empire's Scandinavian way, you sort of encouraged to be as creative as you like, not put yourself in front of the camera lens as I do here, but that was considered not professional, but certainly to make creative inputs at big meetings where everybody's allowed to say what they think and give their kind of brainstorming. You know, I would make at the beginning I would make my ideas, and my boss would just say, you know, you don't make TV for yourself. And you're saying about what would interest you, but you've got to think down to the lowest common denominator. You've got to think to what our advertisers would be willing to buy, you know, a block of. And I had to rethink everything. And I thought, well, it's a pity, isn't it? I can't. It's true. I mean, you don't make TV for yourself, but here now that YouTube's come along, that's exactly what we are doing. In YouTube, you make TV for yourself. So this channel is TV that I couldn't make for myself when I worked in TV, but it's exactly what, you know, might interest me, and therefore it's TV made for myself. And the funny thing is that some other people are actually watching it as well and subscribe to the channel and willing to spend their time watching these inordinately long films and discussions and diatribes, and get some pleasure from it, or some, you know, points of thought from it. I don't know. Even though it's TV effectively that I've made for myself, but you're very welcome to it. That's the fun. That's the fun of it. It's TV you make for yourself, which you would never be able to do. I mean, I had a budget of, I won't even say how much, and we had to buy things with it that would be attractive to the advertisers. Okay, and so therefore I wouldn't have been able to spend any money at all on doing the sorts of stuff that I can do and talk about and focus on in this channel. It wouldn't fly. But you know, languages were considered. I had a chat with an old Don of mine at Cambridge, who said it's a pity that there's not more language programming on TV, isn't it? And it was, well, you know, you just have to put up with it. Languages are not very telegenic, and even when occasionally they make an excellent program about languages, like there was one at that time on the history of the English language or something, it's actually difficult to actually turn that into a TV program. So you know, you can write books about it, you can put it on the radio, but it's not very telegenic. But nevertheless, there's if you look on YouTube, you'll see my language stuff, the stuff about the gold list system. There's going to be more on that. It's going to be more Russian lessons. There's going to be more linguistic meanderings, as I've done from time to time. And there's going to be a I don't want to sort of spoil it too much, but there's going to be a new sort of whole area of that coming out, and that's something where, again, which you wouldn't see normally on TV, because it would be on the radio if it would be anywhere, or people just simply leave people to get buy audiobooks. But I would like to do some more readings of literature and things like that. So so there's going to be more of that. There's going to be more. I promised this in the past and didn't do it, but I think I still want to do it, so it has to happen. I mean, Bible reading of literature, reading of poetry, things like that. I think there's going to be proportionally more of that than there has been in the mix. Probably proportionately less of the travelogue stuff, because certainly I've now filmed most that I can film in Prague, although I do like having, if I go for a walk to lose weight, I like to have that camera with me in order to say what's on my mind, share it with you, and show you a few things that I'm seeing, and it's kind of company, it's almost like I'm having my subscribers with me on a walk that I do, but basically to lose weight. So there's going to be more of that. There's going to be a few more recipes coming along the way. There's going to be some revisiting of some of the characters which I've done in the past, and they've been almost one-offs, but I want to come back to them and develop them a bit more. So it's not just going to be Hooligan, it's going to be more of these characters. I think we're going to get Thomas P. Jameson the third back again, the American, the Texan guy. I have a little sketch in mind for him, which I don't think will be too long in coming. Just wait for some props to come for that, and then I've got this character that came out one time, and that was what did I call him? Yeah, Leonard Mentel. He's been once on the on YouTube, and he's been a few times on the radio when I've taken part in radio shows, and he's gonna. I have to do more with him, and I think if you want to see him, I'll take that as a yes then Ireland. I think was what I did with him. Singing, yeah, I'd like to do more singing. I haven't done that for a while. It's because I get no peace. That's why. That's why I can never do any singing. Otherwise, I'd sing a bit more. And also, I got pretty much to the end of the repertoire, but there's more things I can work on and do. Some of it's done in a light-hearted way, and I do it as that character Lucian O. Pavarotsky, sometimes with the kind of like the distorted lens on. I've done a few more characters. I did the French guy Pierre Delaunay. I did that German guy, who's I'm actually tempted to bring him out again because of World Cup's on, but I may not be quick enough off the mark. That was Spreu von Weizentrainer. I've done another German character on the radio whose name is Wolfgang von Messerschmidt, but I'm not sure. If I can find where I did them in the podcast, then I'll put him up as well. I keep intending to do a Polish one, but I haven't got to it yet. That's going to provoke a lot of people when it happens, though. And who else have I got? Oh yeah, Paddy O'Donoghue, the Irishman. We've got Alfie Mallard, the Londoner. They're all going to be coming back. Who else I've got? Probably it, isn't it? When I get the Czech accent going, then I'll probably perhaps do a Czech one as well. I've already got a name, but I don't know. I can't do the accent. Tends to fall off into something slightly different when I try to do Czech, because it's a subtle accent to do, and I'm not really on top of it yet. But I'll do more in foreign languages too. I'll do a bit more in Polish. I'll start doing them in Czech language, just a few more in German and other things as well. Maybe a bit more readings in those other languages to make it more interesting for the linguists that are watching me. And then probably a little bit, proportionally less travelogues, although I'm still filming travel logs the whole time, so that'll no doubt carry on. But more family stuff. Sophie's getting older. I'm going to have her. She's already put one film so far in the first 1,000. She put one film that she did completely herself, which is when she went to see the bison in the forest, Białowieska forest. She's put that. I put that one up for her. There's going to be more of that stuff that she's actually done from start to finish. I want to encourage her to do that. I don't see the point in giving her own channel as it is now, because prefer to keep it all in the one channel at the moment, just sort of family entertainment anyway. She can have her own channel one day, no doubt, but at the moment she can jolly well help populate my one, and while she's under my roof, so that's going to be coming up, and yeah, that's what you've got to look forward to. But I can't predict how quickly it's going to be, if I had the time, I'd do the Russian stuff for you right now, but just very, very time consuming, and I don't get a lot of time in peace. So more music. A few of my compositions are up there. I haven't put my hymns up yet. I want to put them up. I haven't given you poetry that I've written in the past much, or any of the writings that I've done. But they are actually starting also to go up on Hooligan TV, which brings me to what I wanted to talk about as well in this, and that is that now that I've got to 1,000, I want to really focus a little bit on getting. I've got 2 WordPress vlogs. There's a serious one, chorusy.com, which is my accountancy, and if anybody notices, I don't take any money for any of the stuff that I do, and I don't ask you for any donations or any of the stuff that some people do. I'm not, like I said, I'm not criticising them because I don't live off this. I live off accountancy. But the accountancy, if you go on chorusy.com, have a look at that vlog and maybe subscribe to it, quoracy.com, then you'll be very welcome. That's where I'm going to be doing my sort of serious stuff. And that's where, if you've got a job which you want to give to an accountant, you give it to me, then that'll be something which will really help me a lot. After all, if you've got to give it to an accountant anyway, then why not give it to somebody that's been giving you a bit of entertainment along the way? So, or give it to me to give to somebody, if it's not in my jurisdiction, to somebody that I know. So at least, you know, I get some brownie points in the network off that. And I'll make sure you get the value for money, of course. That goes without saying. I'm not going to rip anybody off. That's not my way of doing things. If it was, then I'd be ripping you off on all sides, rather than giving you most of the stuff that you see here, or all the stuff you see here, for free. So, so basically, that chorusy.com, please have a look at that. That's my, if you like, my serious work. And the companies that I work with are various. They're various companies that I work with, but that's my own sort of like business, and I bill off to those companies from, because I'm actually self-employed now. So the name of my business is actually chorusy.com. So so please have a look at that vlog, which bears the same name as my business, and which gives you an idea of how, if you've got accounting work that needs doing, how we could work together, especially if it's Eastern Europe. And basically, as well as that, which was just a bit of an aside, there's hooliganov.tv. That's the other WordPress vlog that I've got, or WordPress blog, but it's more of a vlog, in fact, because, as you see, it's got the .tv on the end, and that's where actually all of the first 1,000 and going forward YouTube films will be put. Now the problem is that I've got such a lot in here that people get lost in this place. You know, they're looking, where can I find the next one of these? And it doesn't always come up. It doesn't always thread properly. Also, discussion doesn't thread very well. And if you want to have a chat, you know, about something, really get going on it underneath something in the comments, well, it doesn't thread very well. So you can lose who you're talking to. You can't add any media in very much on the comments. If you want to, you got a limit in the number of characters, whereas when I put all of these things up and they're actually up and running on Hooliganov TV, once I've got the first 1,000 up, then I'm going to go forward and actually go real time with the new ones coming up. So the big project is putting everything up. It still runs off YouTube, so if you click it on Hooliganov TV, you're seeing the YouTube thing coming through. You can click through to the YouTube thing and see people's comments on the YouTube thing. But it will be on Hooliganov TV, so that you can have an extra big debate underneath it if you want to really get going on anything, and find the sort of discussion possibilities here rather unsatisfactory, which I do. I like to get going on a discussion. I started off on Usenet, which was why Usenet Posts is the name of the channel, because that was originally my name as I was started off on Usenet. So I like a good discussion. I like to type away and discuss and get going on things. You know, I'm not afraid of the odd flame war if you're interested. But you know, it's all from back then. And you know, if again I'm drying up again about a little bit, aren't I? That's not very good. But basically, yeah, hooliganov.tv. Everything is going to be linking back link to that. So everything that I've done here, the whole first 1,000, then going forward, it's all going to be placed onto Hooligan TV, plus other things, stuff that I used to have on usenetpost.com, which got taken down, and other special articles written just for Hooliganov.tv. So if you're on WordPress, please subscribe to that. Please go along and subscribe to Hooliganov.tv, and then in the future you'll get more than just what's here. The Russian lessons as they go up will have additional stuff just on Hooliganov TV, so that if you're doing the Russian lessons, you'll be able to have discussions, answers, and what have you, much more in Hooliganov TV than is possible here. I'm going to write out the word lists that go through it as well. I'm going to write out a bit of the sort of grammar stuff, give you maybe some, additional material there around the Russian stuff on Hooliganov TV. Already all of the goal list methodology has its own section on Hooliganov TV, but the whole thing is about Hooliganov TV is that it's got categories, nested categories, so that you can easily find the parts of all of this, the ones of those 1,000 videos that actually interest you. You can go directly to them. Each video will be linked into 1, 2, 3 or 4, depending on how many it justifies, categories over there on Hooliganov TV, so that something might be put under humour, and it might be put under Spain or something like that, or for country, and it might be put under the themes that I'm talking about in this. So there's all different ways in which these things are classified out there, so you can get to the stuff of my stuff, you can get to the stuff which you like, and you can get an RSS feed off that as well if you want to, and there's all sorts of things that you can do on there that you can't just do on here alone, but it's all linked back. So the videos that you see there, as I say, are actually coming from the YouTube engine, and you can click if you want to then see them again on YouTube, or see what other people have said so far. You can click and you can rate them both there and in YouTube, and it should be quite interesting. So that's basically what I'm going to do. And so while Hooliganov.tv is getting up to speed, and while Quoracy.com are getting up to speed, those two WordPress blogs, maybe there will be a bit of a slowdown in this area. Doesn't mean to say I'm going away. Certainly there's a holiday coming up, and I won't be around that much, but I'm certainly planning to do another 2,000 at least, God willing, films, and basically, if you watch Hooliganov TV and watch me putting the stuff up and subscribe to it and follow the stuff as it goes up, then at the moment I'm putting up stuff which was done really 4 years ago, but I'm going to be accelerating it, putting it up more quickly, and then trying to catch up with that, so that the whole first 1,000 are properly classified on there, and then you can go there and find everything and debate and talk about it at length, and we can have fun over there just like we have fun here. WordPress is a sort of slightly different world to YouTube, but it's a bit more, I suppose. It's good for people that want to be really creative in more ways than purely video. People that are, see writing as a way of being creative, want to be able to stick their images even into to their responses in the comments or anything like that. All of this is possible there that isn't possible here. You can put even voice clips up as well into it and things like that. So, and YouTube isn't that far yet. Maybe in the future, I don't know, but it isn't that far yet. And I just wanted to try this out. I haven't seen anybody else try it out, but I thought I'd give it a go and see what happens. So your cooperation with that, just going along and supporting it, will be very appreciated. So there we are. It's the end of 1,000. Those of you who've befriended me, those of you that have watched this stuff, put up with my drivel, given me constructive comments or even flames. I don't really, there's nobody that's written to me anything that's particularly hurt me, because I'm a thick-skinned bastard. But there, sometimes I've had to take things down if they've referred to other people or badmouthed other people that I don't want to have hurt. But other than that, I don't, I try and avoid taking people's comments down all that I can. If people want to have a bit of a battle with me, then they usually get one. And if people want to be nice to me, they usually get niceness in return. So, easy to get what you want from this channel, I suppose. If you want a fight, you'll get one. If you want a friendship, you'll get one. So that's pretty much the way this is. So it's my hope that people who've been watching so far keep watching for another 1,000. Tell your friends, help me get more people along for the ride, because it's nice to have some good company, and I've had some very, very good quality viewers. I think that certainly the quality of people that have come along with me on this channel is an awful lot higher than what people tend to get in the main on YouTube, and I'm proud of the people that watch my stuff. That I really am. There's a lot of people out there that really could be watching some, could be watching just about anybody, and choose to watch this. It pleases me immensely. And when you actually take time to write something in the comments and things like that, that's really very nice. So here comes another 2,000. Thank you for the first 1,000, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Oi, 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 oi.